A very good evening to all of you. You're watching News Tonight. My name is Aditi Nagpal Girotra. Let's get the news rolling with the headlines first. On Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel's 144th birth anniversary, Jammu and Kashmir bifurcated into two union territories. Girish Chandra Murmu and R.K. Mathur sworn in as Lieutenant Governors of Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh respectively. Prime Minister Modi pays homage to Sardar Patel, says scrapping Article 370 and 35A has realized the Iron Man's dream of a unified India. Nation celebrates Sardar Patel's birth anniversary on National Unity Day. President and Vice President remember his contributions. Tributes paid in Central Hall of Parliament. Lakhs take part in unity runs in over 700 districts. Sardar Patel had a dream of a civil services dedicated to the cause of national development and unity, says Prime Minister Modi in Kevadia. Advises trainee civil servants to win people's trust. India objects to China's statements on bifurcation of Jammu and Kashmir. Foreign Ministry tells Beijing to stop commenting on internal matters of neighbors and start respecting their sovereignty and geographical integrity. And a big setback for Pakistan in the Kulbhushan Jadhav case. International Court of Justice President tells United Nations that Pakistan violated obligations under the Vienna Treaty. Says appropriate remedies are due in the case. The two new union territories, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, came into existence on Thursday, the 144th birth anniversary of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. With this change, India now has 28 states and 9 union territories. The process of transition commenced with the swearing in of the two newly appointed lieutenant governors in Srinagar and Leh.
Jammu and Kashmir ceased to exist as a state from Thursday, making way for the new union territories of Ladakh and Jammu and Kashmir. While Radha Krishna Mathur took oath as the Lieutenant Governor of Ladakh, G.C. Murmu was administered the oath in Jammu and Kashmir, which will have a legislative assembly. The Jammu and Kashmir High Court will service both union territories, while the centre will directly handle functioning of police and law and order through the LGs. The elected government will take care of land-related issues.
चंद्र मुर्मू सत्यनिष्ठा से प्रतिज्ञा करता हूं कि जो विषय उपराज्यपाल केंद्र शासित प्रदेश जम्मू कश्मीर के रूप में मेरे विचार के लिए लाया जाएगा अथवा मुझे ज्ञात होगा उसे किसी व्यक्ति या व्यक्तियों को तब के सिवाय जबकि ऐसे उपराज्यपाल केंद्र शासित प्रदेश जम्मू कश्मीर के रूप में अपने कर्तव्यों के सम्यक निर्वहन के लिए ऐसा करना अपेक्षित हो मैं प्रत्यक्ष अथवा अप्रत्यक्ष रूप से संसूचित या प्रकट नहीं करूंगा.
The Union Territory of Ladakh will include Leh and Kargil districts, while Jammu and Kashmir will include all districts of the former state. For most people in this cold desert region bordering China and Pakistan, the Union Territory of Ladakh is a dream come true for most people who held several agitations for over last 72 years. The Modi government took a historic decision by revoking Article 370 that granted special status to Jammu and Kashmir. The centre thereafter introduced the Jammu and Kashmir Reorganisation Bill in Parliament, which meant there would be no separate constitution for it. Scrapping of Article 35A removed the concept of permanent residence of Jammu and Kashmir, thereby lifting restrictions on outside citizens. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Our correspondent Nav Vikram Singh spoke to new Lieutenant Governor of Ladakh, R.K. Mathur. Take a look.
अब आज आपने शपथ ली है, क्या आपकी प्राथमिकताएं हैं लद्दाख को लेकर? क्या संभावनाएं आप देखते हैं लद्दाख में?
मेरा मानना है कि अगर यहाँ पर यूटी डिक्लेयर हुआ है, इसका बेसिक ऑब्जेक्टिव यही है कि यहाँ पर विकास की गति तेज़ करी जा सके। जहाँ तक विकास का प्रश्न है, डिफरेंट एरियाज आर देयर, लेकिन वी हैव टू सी कहाँ पर क्या करना है।
जी सर, और चुनौतियों की अगर बात करें तो क्या आप इस इलाके में चुनौतियां देखते हैं? क्योंकि विकास कई बार बहस होती है, विकास बनाम पर्यावरण, तो उसी संतुलन के लिए क्या आपके दिमाग में कोई प्लान है और किस तरीके से उसे देखते हैं?
देखिए, कोई विकास सिर्फ विकास के लिए नहीं होता है। विकास होता है आदमियों का, यहाँ की जनता का भला करने के लिए। अगर विकास में कोई ऐसा कदम आ रहा है जिससे कि यहाँ के पर्यावरण को नुकसान हो, या यहाँ का एक फीलिंग जागृत हो यहाँ पर कि ये लेह के लिए, लद्दाख के लिए अच्छा नहीं हो रहा है, निश्चय ऐसे काम नहीं करने चाहिए। तो टूरिज्म में ये बहुत ज़रूरी है कि केयरफुल बैलेंसिंग एनवायरनमेंट का और डेवलपमेंट का, और ये संभव है।
जी, एक और बात आपसे समझना चाहेंगे। सरकार ने काफ़ी कुछ, हम अगर गृह मंत्री का बयान देखें, प्रधानमंत्री का बयान देखें, बेहद तवज्जो दी है लद्दाख को लेकर। लद्दाख में सोलर एनर्जी का हब बनाने की बात की है, एक ऐसी यूटी जो कि सोलर एनर्जी पर चलेगी। इसके अलावा स्पोर्ट्स हब बनाने की बात की है। तो इन सब को देखते हुए आपको क्या लगता है कि संभावनाएं यहाँ जो सोलर एनर्जी को लेकर हो, या फिर बाकी संभावनाएं कैसे देखते हैं?
देखिए, सबसे पहली संभावना हमेशा पब्लिक की होती है। यहाँ के लोग क्या कर सकते हैं, क्या करना चाहते हैं, वो सबसे पहली संभावना है। गवर्नमेंट का प्रथम काम हमेशा यही होगा कि यहाँ की जो आकांक्षाएं हैं वो फुलफिल करें। यहाँ पर नेचर हैज़ बीन काइंड, सोलर एनर्जी बहुत प्रचुर अवेलेबल है, टूरिज़्म का बहुत स्कोप अवेलेबल है, विंटर स्पोर्ट्स का स्कोप अवेलेबल है। ये सारी चीज़ों को मिलाकर मेरा मानना है कि अगर ठीक ढंग से सिस्टमेटिकली काम करा जाए, ओवर द ईयर्स यहाँ की जनता एक प्रॉस्परस स्टेट में कन्वर्ट हो सकती है।
India celebrates the birth anniversary of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel on 31st October as National Unity Day. To mark Patel's 144th birth anniversary this year, Prime Minister Modi administered the National Unity Pledge to a gathering in Gujarat. National Unity Day has been celebrated every year since 2014 to pay tribute to Sardar Patel, who played an important role in keeping India united post-independence. Across the country, lakhs of people also took part in the run for unity organized in over 700 districts.
On October 31st, India observed the National Unity Day or Rashtriya Ekta Divas on the occasion of the 144th birth anniversary of the Iron Man of India, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. To mark the day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi offered floral tributes at the Statue of Unity in Gujarat's Kevadia district. Paying tributes to the country's first Home Minister, the Prime Minister said the government is working for the emotional, economic and constitutional integration of the country. He also spoke about the abrogation of Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir, saying Article 370 only gives separatism and terrorism to the region. He dedicated the decision to abrogate Article 370 to Patel.
भाई और बहनों, कभी सरदार पटेल ने कहा था कि अगर कश्मीर का मसला उनके पास रहा होता तो उसे सुलझने में इतनी देर नहीं होती। कि सरदार साहब, आपका जो सपना अधूरा था, अब वो दीवार गिरा दी गई है। हमें इस बात की भी खुशी है कि आज से ही जम्मू कश्मीर और लद्दाख एक नए भविष्य की ओर कदम बढ़ा रहे हैं।
The Prime Minister also administered a National Unity Pledge on the occasion. The Prime Minister also watched the Ekta Parade, at which personnel of the Gujarat Police, Jammu and Kashmir Police, Central Reserve Police Force and Border Security Force took part. He also inaugurated the technology demonstration site in Kevadia.
मैं सत्यनिष्ठा से शपथ लेता हूं कि मैं राष्ट्र की एकता, अखंडता और सुरक्षा को बनाए रखने के लिए स्वयं को समर्पित करूंगा।
President Ramnath Kovind paid floral tributes at Sardar Patel's statue at Patel Chowk in Delhi. Top ministers and leaders including Home Minister Amit Shah also paid homage to Patel. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu took to Twitter to pay tributes to the Iron Man of India. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and veteran leader Lal Krishna Advani paid floral tributes to Sardar Patel at the Central Hall of the Parliament. Leader of the opposition in the Rajya Sabha and senior Congress leader Ghulam Nabi Azad also paid tributes to Patel. Secretary Generals of both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha were present on the occasion. Rajya Sabha Secretary General Desh Deepak Verma administered the oath of unity to all employees of the Rajya Sabha Secretariat. A Run for Unity event was also organized across the country to mark the National Unity Day. Home Minister Amit Shah flagged off the Run for Unity at Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium. He said Patel's contribution to unify the nation cannot be forgotten.
और जिनके कारण भारत का ये स्वरूप आज हमारे सामने है, दुनिया पर है और एक प्रकार से अखंड भारत का अस्तित्व जिनके कारण आया, जिन्होंने भारत को एक करने का काम किया, वो सरदार पटेल जी को आज हम सब कृतज्ञता के साथ याद कर कर उनके ही गुणों में से कुछ प्राप्त कर कर देश को एक और अखंडित रखने के लिए आगे बढ़ते हैं.
Union Minister Piyush Goyal also flagged off the Run for Unity in the national capital. Union Minister Dharmendra Pradhan took part in a similar event in Bhubaneswar. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman took part in a walkathon in Chennai. Apart from Delhi, many programs were held in all the states and union territories. Run for Unity was organized in Gujarat, Maharashtra and other places. In Gujarat, while Chief Minister Vijay Rupani flagged off the event in Ahmedabad, Maharashtra Governor Bhagat Singh Koshyari and Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis did the honours in Mumbai. Arunachal Pradesh, Tripura, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka among other states also celebrated the National Unity Day.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Thursday called upon young IAS officers to work together for the nation. He called for working towards realizing the vision of making India a USD 5 trillion economy by 2024-2025. Modi was addressing bureaucrats participating in the first ever Common Foundation course called Arambh being held at Kevadia in Narmada district of Gujarat.
कि आप जिस सेवा से जुड़े हुए हो, ये सेवा सरदार साहब के सपने का अंश है और इसलिए जिस मजबूत नींव की शुरुआत सरदार साहब ने की थी, जो पिछले 70 साल तक अपना क्रमिक विकास करती रही है, अब वक्त बदला है, सदी बदल चुकी है, सपने बदल चुके हैं, इरादे बदल चुके हैं, अपेक्षाएं बदल चुकी हैं.
On the occasion, Modi remembered the contribution of independent India's first Home Minister, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, in the development of civil services.
अपने आप को समर्पित करना है, अपने प्रयासों से परिवर्तन ला करके रहना है. नया भारत बनाने का सपना हर हिंदुस्तानी का है, लेकिन हम लोगों की जिम्मेवारी कुछ ज्यादा है. उस जिम्मेवारी के लिए अपने आप को योग्य बनाएं. इस सरदार साहब की प्रतिभा विश्व में ऊंची प्रतिमा के रूप में लोग जानते होंगे, लेकिन हमारे लिए ये सिर्फ ऊंची नहीं है, आने वाली सदियों तक प्रेरणा देने वाली ये प्रतिमा है।
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu on Thursday said that it is the responsibility of every Indian to protect the unity, integrity, safety, security and sovereignty of the country. He was addressing a function on the occasion of Rashtriya Ekta Divas to commemorate Sardar Patel's birth anniversary in Hyderabad.
इतिहास को याद रखना और इतिहास में जो रचनात्मक कर्तव्य निभाया ऐसे महान भावों को याद करना, स्मरण करना, ये भारतीय परंपरा था हमेशा। Today, as we are all assembled here on the occasion of the birthday of this great man, particularly, and we are observing the Rashtriya Ekta Divas, we should really remember the great service done by this great son, and there is every need for the country. As I told you, even the new education policy, we should really include the life, the teachings, and the sacrifices and the services made by people like Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, so that the generations in the coming days also will get inspiration from the life of these great leaders.
Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar also marked Sardar Patel's anniversary. Javadekar administered the Unity Pledge to school students and officials at the National Museum of Natural History. Everyone present took an oath to strengthen the nation's unity and to protect the environment.
कल्पना करिए अगर कुछ 200 रियासतें बीच बीच में कहती कि हमें आज़ाद रहना है, 200 कहते कि हमें भारत में रहना है, 140 कहते हमें पाकिस्तान में जाना है, तो देश का चित्र कैसे दिखता, नक्शा कैसे निकलता? नहीं होता। आज अगर इस देश का एक ही नक्शा तैयार हुआ है, उसका कारण सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल है, यह हमें समझना चाहिए।
The 4-day-long Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat Parv 2019 was inaugurated in New Delhi on Thursday by HRD Minister Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank. The event, which will continue till Sunday, has been organized by the Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan. The main objective of the event is to celebrate unity in diversity and to promote the spirit of national integration among all Indian states and union territories. At the inauguration, Pokhriyal said that through the vision of Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat, we have to take the country to new horizons and that students will have to play a major role in it.
आप देख रहे हैं कि किस तरीके से एक भारत श्रेष्ठ भारत और एक पूरा भारत के दर्शन यहाँ हो रहे हैं। हमारे बच्चे तमिलनाडु के बहुत अच्छी हिंदी बोल रहे हैं, हिंदी भाषी बहुत अच्छी तमिल बोल रहे हैं, तेलुगु बोल रहे हैं, मलयालम बोल रहे हैं, कन्नड़ बोल रहे हैं और उनकी संस्कृति और उनके सांस्कृतिक स्थानों के बारे में, ऐतिहासिक स्थानों के बारे में एक दूसरा किस तरीके से कर रहे हैं।
The newly elected Shiv Sena MLAs on Thursday elected Eknath Shinde as the leader of the party's legislative wing. Sunil Prabhu was elected as the chief whip of the party in the Maharashtra legislature. Shinde, MLA from Thane, was the leader of House in the previous term as well, besides being a cabinet minister in the BJP Sena government. First-time MLA and Thackeray family scion Aditya Thackeray tabled the motion to elect Shinde as the leader of the Sena Legislative Party. The newly elected party MLAs met at Shiv Sena Bhavan in Mumbai in the presence of party President Uddhav Thackeray. Later, Shiv Sena leaders meet Maharashtra Governor Bhagat Singh Koshyari at the Raj Bhavan. India hit out at China over its rhetoric on Jammu and Kashmir. The Ministry of External Affairs urged China to refrain from commenting on India's internal matter, stating that India doesn't comment on internal affairs of other countries and expects China to do likewise. Addressing a media briefing, External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Ravish Kumar said that Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh are an integral part of India. He added that China has illegally occupied a part of India before expressing concerns about the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor project. The statement of the MEA spokesperson follows the statement of the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson, in which he described the division of Jammu and Kashmir as illegal and unnecessary.
China is well aware of India's consistent and clear position on this issue. The matter of reorganization of the erstwhile state of Jammu and Kashmir into the Union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh is entirely an internal affair of India. We do not expect other countries, including China, to comment on the matters which are internal to India, just as India refrains from commenting on internal issues of other countries. The Union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh are integral part of India. We expect other countries to respect India's sovereignty and territorial integrity. China continues to be in the occupation of a large tract of area in the Union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. It has also illegally acquired Indian territories from Pakistan-occupied Kashmir under the so-called China-Pakistan Boundary Agreement of 1963. India has consistently conveyed its concerns to both China and Pakistan on the projects in so-called China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which is in the territory that has been illegally occupied by Pakistan since 1947.
The Ministry of External Affairs said that Thursday, the visit by European Union MPs to Kashmir was not at all internationalization of issue, and such delegations do not necessarily have to come through official channels. In its first comments on the issue, the ministry also said the important point was whether such an engagement serves larger national interests.
This is what MEA is expected to do. This is what we have been doing. This is part of our engagement with other countries and think tanks, media. And if I heard what you heard from the members of European Parliament after their visit, I think it is the issue of cross-border terrorism, the role of Pakistan in the cross-border terrorism, which got international opinion. And I think, if you look at what we have done, I think on many occasions, engagement with the diplomatic community is not internationalizing the issue. External Affairs Minister has spoke at different forums in the US, across several platforms. That is not internationalizing. We are supposed to share our perspectives on a certain issue, and we are supposed to share that with different groups of people who would like to get that perspective. So that definitely is not the intent. It is not a question of ceding ground at all. We feel that this is feeding into the larger objective, larger interest which we have.
Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu reconstituted 8 House committees on Thursday. BJP's Prabhat Jha will head the Ethics Committee of Rajya Sabha. Jha replaces his party colleague Narayan Lal Pancharia. BJD's Prasanna Acharya was named chairman of the Committee on Petitions, replacing Jha. T. Subbarami Reddy of the Congress was named chairman of the Committee on Subordinate Legislation. A. Navneeta Krishnan has been named chairman of the Committee on Government Assurances. Om Prakash Mathur of the BJP has been appointed chairman of the House Committee. As per the rules of the House, the Rajya Sabha chairman heads the Business Advisory Committee and the Committee on Rules. By convention, the deputy chairman heads the Committee on Privileges. The new members of the Business Advisory Committee of Rajya Sabha are B.K. Hari Prasad, Narayan Lal Pancharia, Vinay P. Sahasrabuddhi and K. Keshav Rao. The new members of the Committee on Rules include Satyanarayan Jatia, Swapan Das Gupta and Y.S. Chaudhary, P.L. Punya, Naresh Gujral, Subhash Chandra and Amar Singh. The finals of the Inter-Ministerial Football Tournament 2019 was held in Delhi on Thursday. In the junior wing, the Rajya Sabha Secretariat team defeated the team of Ministry of Information and Broadcasting to win the title. In the first half, both the teams put up a tough fight, playing equally. But in the second half, the players of Rajya Sabha Secretariat took the lead with their better performance, scoring 2 goals which helped them win the game. With the victory in the final match, the Rajya Sabha team won the tournament without losing any match. The record of scoring the highest goals was also awarded to a player of the Rajya Sabha team, S. Hukip. A total of 13 teams participated in the junior wing tournament. The Rajya Sabha Secretariat team were the winners in 2016-2017 as well.
इंटर मिनिस्ट्री टूर्नामेंट है जो डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ पर्सनल एंड ट्रेनिंग ऑर्गेनाइज करता है। इसमें देश के जितने भी हमारे सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के मंत्रालय हैं ये सभी टीमें इसमें पार्टिसिपेट करती हैं और राज्यसभा ने भी इसमें पार्टिसिपेट किया और कुल मिला के जो मुझे बताया गया है कि 13 टीमें इसमें मिनिस्ट्री की थी जिन्होंने इसमें पार्टिसिपेट किया और 2 ग्रुप थे हमारे और कुल मिला के राज्यसभा ने फाइनल तक 8 मैच खेले और अजय रही, किसी भी मैच में नहीं हारी हमारी टीम।
जीत का तो हमेशा एहसास हमेशा इच्छा रहता है पे और इस टूर्नामेंट में मतलब हमें खेलने को इतना अच्छा मिलता है और इतना अच्छा ग्राउंड के साथ में इतनी अच्छी व्यवस्था के साथ में इतना अच्छा हम सेक्रेटरीट को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं, राज्यसभा सेक्रेटरीट को, उसका नाम रोशन करने का बहुत अच्छा मौका मिला, बहुत अच्छा प्लेटफॉर्म मिला और जीत के साथ तो खुशी और दुगनी होगी सर यहाँ पे।
Pulse Polio Silver Jubilee was celebrated on the completion of 25 years of the campaign and its success. Union Minister Harshvardhan and Working President of BJP, JP Nadda, addressed the event. On this occasion, Union Minister Harshvardhan also inaugurated intensified Mission Indradhanush 2.0, which aims to cover the areas where there is still a scope for vaccination.
New Indradhanush in the new form that we want, with every child to have all those 12 vaccines in this country. We'll keep on sharing our thoughts, we'll keep on brainstorming, we'll keep on reforming our action plans, and I'm sure that we'll celebrate another success of Indradhanush.
And now let's talk about environment and climate change. On International Leopard Day on October 23rd, government launched a national level protocol called the Snow Leopard Population Assessment in India to estimate the population of snow leopards in the Himalayan ranges. The aim is to double the number of snow leopards in the next decade by promoting conservation. This initiative is a part of Global Population Assessment of the World's Snow Leopards or PAWS, which aims to have an estimate of the snow leopard population by 2022. In India, snow leopards mainly inhabit the higher and trans-Himalayan region spread across Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Sikkim and Arunachal Pradesh. It contributes to about 5% of global snow leopard population. The main sources of threat for snow leopards are climate change, unregulated tourism, retribution killing, poaching, illegal trade, infrastructure development in the mountains and excessive livestock grazing. Pakistan violated its obligations under Vienna Convention in Kulbhushan Jadhav's case. The International Court of Justice President Judge told the United Nations General Assembly. Presenting the report of the ICJ to the 193-member General Assembly on Wednesday, Yusuf said that appropriate remedies were due in this case. He said that in its judgment of July 17th, the ICJ found that Pakistan had violated its obligations under Article 36 of the Vienna Convention. In a major victory for India, the ICJ had ruled that Pakistan must review the death sentence awarded to Jadhav. And with this, it's a wrap on this edition of News Tonight. Thank you so much for your time.